The alarms at Pentonville are screaming at the top of their lungs. The heavy steel doors are locked down tight. There is blood pooling on the cold concrete floor of the cell block. Jens and Curtis are fighting for their absolute lives in the dirt. But that is not the real problem. The real problem is the third body lying in the shadows of the prison block. A body wearing a standard issue Pentonville uniform. A body that belongs to a man who is supposedly sitting in a wheelchair miles away at the mansion. Guys, we need to talk about Drew. Or rather, the man we all thought was Drew. Let us break down the domino effect. This was never just a random prison brawl. If you ask me, the attack at Pentonville was a highly coordinated and surgical strike. Jens and Curtis were specifically targeted. They were brutally taken down. They were immediately rushed to the intensive care unit. They are hanging on by a mere thread right now. The doctors are panicking. The nurses are scrambling. The entire medical staff is on high alert. But the chaos at the hospital is absolutely nothing compared to the massive storm brewing at the police station. Because the moment the news hits the precinct, all eyes turn to one single man. Sonny. The police do not waste a single second. They drag Sonny straight into the cold interrogation room. They throw the bloody crime scene photos of Jens and Curtis right onto the metal table. Sonny is the prime suspect. It makes perfect sense on paper. Sonny has the motive. Sonny has the massive reach to pull strings inside a maximum security prison. The police are absolutely convinced that Sonny ordered this brutal hit to tie up his loose end. They even drag the Pentonville warden into the hot seat to testify. The warden is sweating profusely. The warden is dodging questions. The warden looks guilty as sin. The walls are rapidly closing in on Sonny. But that is not even the biggest surprise. Here is where things get messy. While the police are busy trying to nail Sonny to the wall, they are completely ignoring the most important detail of the entire prison riot. There was a third victim. Another man was caught in the violent crossfire. He was beaten. He was bloodied. He was left for dead on the cold floor. And when the prison medics finally rolled him over, they saw his face. It was Drew. The real Drew. And then everything spiraled. If the real Drew is bleeding out on the floor of a maximum security prison, then who the hell is sitting in the living room back in town? Who did Nina just push into the freezing lake? Who has Willow been desperately trying to paralyze and silence all this time? Guys, this is where it gets absolutely terrifying. The man walking around our city is a complete fake. He is a dangerous imposter. He is a ghost wearing a highly advanced and flawless mask. This imposter has not just been hiding in plain sight. He has been pulling every single string behind the curtain. He is the true mastermind behind the horrific Pentonville attack. He orchestrated the entire bloody riot from the comfort of his stolen life. His ultimate goal? To eliminate Jens and Curtis in one brutal and sweeping motion. And the absolute cherry on top of his evil plan? Framing Sonny for the whole bloodbath. The imposter wanted Sonny locked away in a cage forever. He wanted Jens and Curtis silenced permanently so they could never expose his secret. It was designed to be the perfect crime. But wait, it gets worse. The fake Drew made one massive and fatal miscalculation. He never ever expected the real Drew to get hurt in the prison riot. The real Drew was supposed to stay perfectly hidden in his dark cell. The real Drew was supposed to rot away in secret for the rest of his life. But the sheer chaos of the riot spilled over into the hidden sectors of the prison. The real Drew got caught in the violent crossfire. The real Drew got severely injured. And now, the real Drew's battered body is going to expose the greatest identity theft we have ever seen. The imposter's entire house of cards is about to come violently crashing down. So, who is the twisted man behind the realistic mask? If you ask me, we have to look closely at the dangerous ghosts of our past. Could it be Cyrus? I know exactly what you are thinking. Jocelyn supposedly took Cyrus down a long time ago. We all thought he was completely dead and gone from this world. But we know how this city works. Nobody ever stays dead forever. What if Cyrus survived that fatal encounter with Jocelyn? What if he crawled his way out of his own grave? What if he slapped on a perfect Drew mask and walked right through the front door of the mansion? Cyrus absolutely hates Sunny. Cyrus would love nothing more than to see Sunny framed for a horrific prison massacre. It fits his twisted profile perfectly. But that was not the real problem. There are other terrifying suspects on the board. What if it is Victor? Victor is the ultimate puppet master. He has the endless resources. He has the dark money. He has the twisted scientific brilliance to pull off a flawless face swap of this incredible magnitude. Victor loves to play God with innocent lives. Putting the real Drew in a hellhole like Pentonville while a fake dances around town is exactly Victor's signature style. He would absolutely relish the opportunity to watch Sunny squirm in a cold interrogation room while he controls the entire board from the deep shadows. Guys, this is where it gets interesting. We absolutely cannot rule out Nicholas. Nicholas has been completely off the grid. Nicholas has been lurking in the dark for months. What if Nicholas decided to steal Drew's entire life? What if he wanted to gain total access to the family business and the ultimate revenge against all of his bitter enemies? Nicholas has the dark technology at his fingertips. A hyper-realistic mask would be absolute child's play for a man with his dark connection. Nicholas could easily be the one sitting in that wheelchair, playing everyone for absolute fools. What happened next may be even worse. Think about what this massive revelation means for Willow and Nina. Willow truly thought she was in total control of the situation. She thought she was successfully paralyzing Drew with those incredibly dangerous medical doses. But the imposter was just playing along the entire time. He was completely faking the paralysis. He was sitting in that wheelchair, laughing internally, while Willow panicked and stressed over her dark secret. When he suddenly spoke out loud and completely shocked Nina, it was not some miraculous medical recovery. It was simply the imposter deciding he was finally tired of playing the quiet, helpless victim. And when Nina pushed him into the freezing lake, the imposter probably planned that exact moment too. He let himself fall into the dark water. He let Gio dive in and play the brave hero. The imposter is using absolutely everyone around him as disposable pawns. Gio truly thought he was saving a precious life, but he actually rescued a cold-blooded monster. Nina genuinely thinks she committed a terrible and unforgivable crime, but she was just a small piece in the imposter's sick and twisted game of chess. Meanwhile, the police are completely and utterly blind to the truth. They are so aggressively obsessed with nailing Sunny for the Pentonville riot that they are not looking at the bigger picture at all. The warden is highly likely on the imposter's secret payroll. The warden definitely knows the real Drew is locked away in that hidden prison cell. The warden purposely allowed the violent riot to happen to cover up the track. Sunny is sitting in that cramped interrogation room right now. Sunny is screaming his innocence until his lungs give out. But the cold walls are rapidly closing in on him. Sunny is hopelessly trapped in a sticky web spun by a fake Drew. The sheer tension is absolutely suffocating. Every single second that ticks by brings the real Drew closer to a tragic death in the intensive care unit. Every passing minute brings the fake Drew closer to his ultimate and complete victory. But the fake Drew does not know that the real Drew is finally exposed to the light. Once the brilliant doctors at the hospital realize they have two identical men in their care, the entire city will violently explode. The imposter will suddenly have absolutely nowhere to run. His perfect disguise will become his ultimate prison. Let us talk about Jason. Jason just got back to town. Jason has been trying to reconnect with his family. Imagine the absolute horror when Jason discovers that his own twin brother has been rotting in a filthy Pentonville cell this entire time. Jason is going to lose his absolute mind. Jason will not wait for the police to do their jobs. Jason will bypass the entire legal system. Jason will march straight into that hospital, take one look at the real Drew, and then he will go hunt. The fake Drew has no idea that he just woke up the most dangerous enforcer in the city. Jason is going to tear the mansion apart looking for the imposter. And what about Carly? Carly has been defending Sunny. Carly has been trying to keep the peace. But when Carly finds out that Sunny is being framed by a man wearing Drew's face, she is going to go on the warpath. Carly will absolutely destroy anyone who gets in her way. Carly will march right into the police station and demand answers. Carly will corner the warden herself if she has to. The imposter thought he was so smart by keeping Carly out of the loop, but he actually just guaranteed his own brutal downfall. Let us dive deeper into the warden's dark secret. The warden did not just take a simple bribe. The warden was likely blackmailed into absolute submission. The fake Drew must have found something incredibly damaging on the warden. Maybe it was illegal gambling debts. Maybe it was a secret second family. Whatever it was, the fake Drew used it to turn the warden into a loyal and terrified lapdog. The warden allowed the real Drew to be smuggled into the prison in the dead of night. The warden assigned the real Drew a completely fake inmate number. The warden made sure the real Drew was kept in deep solitary confinement, far away from any prying eyes. But the riot ruined everything. The riot forced the guards to open the solitary doors. The riot allowed the real Drew to escape into the general population just as the hitmen were making their violent move on Jens and Curtis. The real Drew tried to intervene. The real Drew tried to stop the bloodshed. And that is exactly how he ended up with a shiv in his side, bleeding out next to the very men the imposter wanted dead. It is a tragic and brutal twist of pure fate. Now, the fake Drew has to scramble. He has to cover his tracks before the police realize the third victim is not just a random inmate. The fake Drew might even try to sneak into the hospital himself. He might try to finish the job with his own two hands. Imagine the terrifying scene. The fake Drew, dressed as a doctor, slipping past the hospital security. He walks right into the intensive care unit. He stands over the real Drew's bed. He reaches for the life support machine. It is a literal race against time. Will the real Drew wake up in time to scream for help? Will Jason arrive at the hospital before the imposter can pull the plug? Will Sonny break out of the interrogation room and take matters into his own hands? The stakes have literally never been higher. Every single character is on a high-speed collision course, and the brakes have been completely cut. But we are not out of the woods yet. The imposter is still safely inside the mansion. He is still surrounded by vulnerable and completely innocent people who have no idea they are living with a monster. He is watching the news. He is waiting for Sonny to take the final fall. He thinks he has completely won the war. But the absolute truth always has a funny way of clawing its way up to the surface. The real Drew is fighting for his life. Jens and Curtis are clinging to their final breath. Sonny is fighting for his freedom against a rigged system. If you ask me, the police are about to make a catastrophic error. If they officially charge Sonny, they give the imposter the ultimate green light to finish his dark work. The imposter will not stop with Jens and Curtis. He will systematically wipe out anyone who gets too close to the truth. Willow is in massive danger. Nina is walking on thin ice. Gio has no idea he saved the devil himself. Jack is out there playing his own games, completely unaware that the man he is dealing with is a total fraud. This entire situation is a massive powder keg waiting for a single spark. The warden is the weakest link in this entire chain. If Sonny can somehow manage to break the warden's silence, the whole conspiracy will unravel. But Sonny is running out of precious time. The police are pushing for a swift and brutal conviction. They want a neat and tidy narrative. They want Sonny behind bars so they can close the book on the Pentonville bloodbath forever. But that is not how this story ends. A massive secret is about to be completely exposed. An innocent character is about to be trapped in a locked room with a desperate, unmasked psychopath. A brilliant master plan is about to violently and spectacularly collapse in front of our very eyes. And the ultimate, terrifying question remains unanswered. Who is going to survive the bloody fallout when the fake mask is finally ripped away?
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.